Welcome back, everyone, to Week 8 of the LCS. We're joined by Nintendo X from GGU. Congrats on the match. Coming into this matchup now with Daydreamin', how do you guys feel in your choices in Champion Select?
I think we actually did a pretty solid job in Champion Select. We were actually expecting to get Nasus. We didn't expect Clicky to pick Nasus that early. I don't know if they just like Nasus or he was trying to deny it from me, but that's kind of the only reason I ran Nocturne. I'm not really comfortable running Nocturne, but I definitely played a lot better than I expected to.
Well,
on
you
my
noticed,
champion today.
yeah, in the first week, you kind of, or first or second week, you kind of brought it out and then shied away from it.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just, with what's getting popular now, like Volibear and Nasus, it's kind of hard to run that many other junglers. Like, I can't really run Trundle if we're not going poke, so I decided Nocturne kind of suits it a little better, and I was able to play pretty aggressive there, so I was happy with it.
Right, so with that Nocturne play, I know a lot of the times when I watch you jungle, near the end of the game you have fairly low CS because you defer it to your laners, but that was a game where you had a lot of minion kills on Nocturne. Was that a conscious decision to pick up more farm because you knew you'd be going in, or was that just like, it just happened to get there? I
think it just happened, but it's something that I think I need to do more going into the future because I've always kind of been able to pull my weight as a jungler, and I don't like playing that passive style. So I think getting a little more selfish with CS and whatnot, that just kind of fell into place, having a Rumble, not that great of a wave pusher that game, and me covering a lot. Plus I'm Nocturne, I can kind of split push and ult into a fight. But yeah, I felt a lot more comfortable that game. I felt like I was a tank that actually couldn't be killed. A lot of the time when you defer CS, you just feel like you get blown up.
Yeah, so what about your comfort level like as a team? Because you've had Bloodwater move on to Vulcan, and now you have Daydreamin'. First off, why did you pick up Daydreamin' in particular, and how do you think he's doing?
We picked up Daydreamin' because he lived in California and we kind of had short notice. But in all realistic, like, he's played great. You know, he's stepped in as a support, a sub. That's kind of hard shoes to fill. A support, you have to deal with the AD synergy. But we've played with him in the past, so I guess that made it a little easier. But he's definitely stepped up, and I'm really proud of how he's played.
Yeah, and it's just one of many roster swaps we've seen recently. Do you think it's because we're closing in on the playoff race and moving it on LCS that we're seeing this, or is it something else behind all the just wave of roster changes?
I think we're seeing it a lot in the bottom tier teams, like the bottom 4, because you really want to be 5th or 6th place. Like, you don't want to be 7th or 8th. You want to be able to play for that spot guaranteed and even try and win the spring season, which I think the way the NA-LCS is going so far, a lot of teams can. So yeah. It makes sense that teams are doing that. Unfortunately, we kind of got the bad end of one of the deals, but we definitely feel the same way.
Do you think that's a bad end, though? Because Daydreamin' has been playing great for you. Like, of the teams that you're competing with now, how do you think the teams are reacting to the roster swaps? Like, Prawley on Complexity, Bloodwater on Vulcan. Like, how are those teams now that they've made the changes? Even Marn with the Intatsu, who you guys just defeated.
I think every single one of those was an upgrade for the team. No disrespect to the previous players, but Prawley's just... he was all over the map that Complexity game. He played an excellent game. And even Bloodwater, he's been playing great. They beat TSM yesterday. And it's really been an upgrade to the teams that have made the moves. So, it's kind of hard to do, kicking someone off, especially if you're living in a gaming house and whatnot. But if it's got to be done, then definitely make the decision because they're a lot scarier right now.
Absolutely. So you kind of showed a bit of stress, when you said, I picked Nocturne, I don't like it. Does winning these games give you more comfort and want you to, turn towards those champions again, or you kind of just keep them in when they can work?
I think lately, like, we started the season 2-12, and now we're at, I think, 6-13 or something. And, 6-13 doesn't look pretty, but compared to 2-12, it looks great. So I think we're like 4-2 as of late, which I'm very pleased with. So I think that's built on my confidence a little bit.
Awesome.
I'm a lot more relaxed going to a game. It's not like, oh, I don't want to lose another one. I'm not shaken over that. It's like, I'm going to win this game. Like, winning consecutively definitely builds confidence, and it's been great for us.
Yeah, so just cutting back to your confidence right now, of the bottom 4 teams, with everyone actually making a roster swap, you guys are like the only ones who necessarily didn't force a roster swap on your team. Is that because even despite your kind of struggles this season, have you felt like you're struggling? Is the team dealing well with it? Do you not want to make changes?
I think we struggled a lot when Jinte came on, and we couldn't use Shifter because at one point we were using Fat, then we were using Jinte. It's like we really got to make up our minds. So we struggled a little bit each time we made the roster swap, but we got a little more into the comfort zone with Jinte. So now it's like, why we don't need to make a roster swap. We can beat these teams. I think like when we beat CLG, it was like, we can do this. Why not? So I think I'm confident with this roster, even with Daydreamin'. Like, I love these players. I love my teammates. So, I think we can still win. I think we're fine.
Absolutely. Well, it's so awesome to see all the teams, especially you guys, like I said, for Teams TSM, to take these new fresh rosters and come out with wins, because it does mean a lot, and we love to see these standings just getting tossed up all the time. Congratulations on the match, and good luck in the rest of the season. Thanks. Okay, it's time for our final match of the day, Curse versus Vulcan. While Curse has been solid from day one, Vulcan has had its share of ups and downs this season.
Vulcans, they're being really strong right now. The Big Dick, CLG.
They've really been picking up steam after starting out the season 0-5.
Sometimes they're really, really on, and they'll take it to you, but other times they choke. So we'll see what they do.
Their whole roster is really solid. They play aggressive. They get really pumped up with each other off the back of Zuna's yelling and stuff.
To beat Curse, we either need to play really solid and just take the whole game starting from the beginning, or just run some crazy cheese strat that they never even thought of and just totally blow their minds.
With a loss today, Curse will fall out of first place for the first time all season. But Curse is 2-0 against Vulcan so far and steamrolled them in the final game of Week 7.
And it's crazy to think that was just last week when St. Vicious helped Voyboy by dominating top lane, right? He was 2-1-13 on Nasus, and from there, Voyboy controlled the entire game with Renekton. He shut down Psycho Sid with that Ghost Renekton. Psycho Sid's Kennen just did not have an answer for that,
right.
And it was a big reason for their victory.
Absolutely. But on the flip side, the addition of Bloodwater has Vulcan playing with a newfound focus.
Yeah, so Bloodwater's Curse debut yesterday was really impressive. They beat TSM. They really just seemed to be way more coordinated. We heard him in the interview this team listens to me, and that's got to feel good for him as a shot caller. I mean, his 1-1-15 was awesome as well. So, this game is particularly interesting because Curse lost to CLG, lost to TSM.
Absolutely.
They are in a bit of a struggle right now. And Vulcan potentially could be on the rise as well, so this is going to be good.
Yeah, guys, the players are ready to jump into Champion Select, and I know we are, so let's quickly check out the lineups before we do that. Curse is in the blue corner, Voyboy in the top, St. Vicious in the jungle, Nijaki on mid, Comp on AD, and Elements on support.
And on the red side, we have Vulcan with Psycho Sid in the top lane, X-Smithy in the jungle, Mandatory Cloud in mid, Zuna on AD, and Bloodwater on support.
And coming into this one, we saw Jackie kind of face plant, pull a double lift, and he didn't really face check anything. He just face checked an open area and went down. We saw it 2 games in a row, so Curse is probably going to play this one a lot more cautious.
Yeah, we finally had a break from the level 1s in the last game.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy happened. We didn't immediately have a team playing far from behind. And Curse versus Vulcan will be another interesting level 1 because Curse had been dominating teams at level 1 just based on confidence, and they underwarded and they'd still get things done. But lately, teams are kind of calling them on their bluff a little bit, right? They're waiting in their jungle because they expect Curse to come through because they know they're confident, right? That's what almost got Curse into trouble against GGU yesterday.
Yeah, they did. It was moved around like they owned everything.
And they usually do, right? They're the #1 team. They play like they have the edge. And I think the Prawley strategy that's been happening with Complexity, it's play like you have an advantage, and you'll get an advantage, right? And that's kind of the way Curse lives their meta, slow game play.
Yep.
They play like they're ahead, and they're just all right, come fight us. We're going to beat you.
A lot of the things on Reddit, I remember the CLG coming out when it was, the state of CLG, where they're at right now. And one of the really awesome posts at the top was, we're always 1-0. Keep it going. That's the way it is, right? Keep that next win coming in. Don't think you're any better. Don't think you're any less. Start the day. Whether we lost, we're 1-0. Let's keep going. You know what I mean?
Curse has got to think of that today because they're already 0-1 for the day, and they can't let the momentum carry against them. In the past, Curse had been a team that struggled with communication, but this year they've really been the team that's probably been the best at communication, right? Cop had a really unfortunate thing happen today when he died 6 times.
Oh, man.
He had 13 deaths in his first 21 games and died 6 times. So 31% of his deaths all year were last game, if that makes any sense.
And it looked like it threw him off, too. He wasn't playing like we usually see him. He's the one to put the damage on the outside, not the one to come up with the quadra pentakill. But he wasn't able to do that, and he wasn't really the one being super focused down either. He was sometimes the last one to be focused, but his team got taken out so quick, he stood there in fear. And you can't really do much when you're just shell-shocked like that.
And I really think that has to do with just Curse as a team. You don't get a KDA ratio that high on an 80 carry if your team isn't playing exceptionally well.
Right.
And in that game, since St. Vicious got shut down, Voyboy wasn't having a great game. There was nothing to protect him because normally he's able to keep that ridiculously low death total because the rest of his team creates so much pressure and distraction for him. But when that doesn't happen, you can see it's yeah, he's just a Kog'Maw. He's a cute little Void puppet. You can just go kill him if he doesn't have the protection.
Absolutely, yeah. It was Kog'Maw that really hurt him that game. That's a great point.
No escapes.
banned out his MF, and it looked like he was thrown out of his comfort zone just on that.
Yeah, he is the MF player, and sometimes he falls back to Varus, sometimes he falls back to... I was going to get another one, obviously Kog'Maw, Tristana, all those things, but Kog'Maw is the most vulnerable of all of those, and it didn't work out for them. So Vulcan, let's see if they can capitalize on these things, because both of these teams have actually played Karthus mid, as we're seeing him make his big resurgence, and there's a really good chance we could see the Karthus mid happen again this game, as either team could pull it out.
And it's been the AoE comp for Vulcan, because the Vladimir top, the Sona coming in as well, and they're trying to capitalize on that. But like I said before, when you want everybody to just stack onto it and you have no way to put them there, they're going to figure that out, and you're never going to get it after the first time.
Right, and at least Vulcan has been keeping a cohesive strategy so far here. Like when they did that AoE comp earlier today against Complexity, they went all in for that, right? There was a double Bloodthirster MF on Zuna because all he cared about was his attack damage from the bullet time, because they wanted to combo it with the rest of the AoE. That is good, but it can also get you in trouble, because if you tip your hand too far in one direction, it makes you more counterable, right? It's like rock, paper, scissors. If you do it to that extent, you don't have a move if they put paper onto your rock, right? If you go too heavily.
And Cop is, his hand is a dolphin right now.
Yeah, it's going up and down. All right.
All righty.
He's embarrassed.
He knows he's on camera, actually. And we actually saw Tizza grabbing the phone away from Psycho Sid. No phones at the desk. That's the way it works. Can't have a digital leash anywhere.
Yeah, I really like the setup we have here, actually, with all the players' settings pre-saved onto all the computers.
So good.
When they come in, we get really quick turnarounds in the games. Really awesome job by the tech team. And, like, these players also, it's our cameraman, right, like KS, who's just, like, kind of trolling them because he gets to watch program. He's like, you guys are on screen. And they're like, oh, crap. They're looking at me.
That's where you see Cop. She completely turn the bright red, his glow coming out, and we'll see. These guys now getting into the game, almost in the lobby, and then into Champion Select, and it's going to be great to see if, Curse is like, what AoE comp did you bring to the table? Ban, 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 ban.
They very well could. I mean, Curse thrives in the pick phase, especially against all these teams, and I really want to check their kind of win-loss on teams that are above and below the 500 win marker, because Curse seems to dominate all of these teams, right? They're already 2-0 against Vulcan, right? They do struggle against the top teams, though, and this is the question, is Vulcan a top team or not? Because a lot of the top teams can battle with Curse.
And we see a lot of the teams being quite serious before these matches, where you can see where the experience comes into play, and Curse completely loose and having fun right now.
Yeah, and they are a happy-go-lucky team, right? When they're together for that long. Curse has really been in the gaming house for longer than almost any of these teams if you don't count TSM.
Right.
Was in LA before, now they're living over in Vegas, but like it's a good thing for Curse. Cop's having fun. Finger tricks.
Absolutely. That's the synergy you need between the support and the AD carry. If you can't finger lock.
If you can't do the same finger tricks together, or it's like the Zion Spartan and Tenured X where they just lock hands.
Absolutely. Yeah. If they figured out what they want to go for. So now to the picks and ban phase. Last game of the day, as we are into Champion Select, but you already knew that. Diana, Nidalee, Renekton, and TF on the ban list.
Nidalee, poor mandatory Cloud, never gets to play it again.
No.
It's like, I have such a good KDA with Nidalee, let me play it again. No. You're not ever going to get to play it again. Renekton ban as well, pretty good because that's getting rid of Void Boy's threat. They're trying to ban TF, which is a little curious. Like, Najaki does play Twisted Fate. I wouldn't say it's, like, fear-worthy, but there doesn't seem to be too many priority bans for these guys if they're going with this stuff.
We'll have to see what they pick out. Najaki still has his Lux. He has liked that quite a bit lately. Mandatory Cloud. I don't know if we see him too much. And Sona actually finds herself on the ban list. It has kind of been the bandwagon support that everybody's grabbing.
Yeah, this is actually pretty cool because Vulcan recognizes they're calling Elements his bluff right here. Elements plays pretty much Lulu and Sona, and he played Thresh yesterday and had kind of mixed results with it, right? So what Bloodwater wants to do is he wants to either force them to first pick it or take it themselves, and they want to make sure Elements isn't comfortable in this game. So Curse would have to first pick this, otherwise I think Vulcan's going to take it away from them.
The support Bloodwater has played every game on Vulcan so far, so yeah, they're completely putting that out. St. Vicious is going to bring out Volibear after his Udyr game today.
And now we're going to see if I'm completely wrong, because, I mean, St. Vicious has upgraded his bear. Udyr's only like 1/4 bear.
Right.
He went full bear.
Full bear.
Right now,
Yeah.
so that's a good one. And he's got more armor. Right, so we'll see if that's a little more powerful. And Vulcan's, maybe they'll go with the poke comp.
Maybe they will go with the poke, and then they will poke the bear. We will have to see. It's going to be Xmithy and Psycho Sid in here. Nasus still on the board, and there it is. Xmithy loving the banana suit dog. Locks it in.
And I really think Vulcan should go with Lulu here if Bloodwater wants it. And
really?
Oh, really? It's
You
because
think
they want to deny Curse that
completely.
pick. So Now, what's Curse going to do in response to this?
Blitzcrank.
Voidboy's still got his top laner. It could be. He likes his
That'd be
Blitzcrank.
fantastic.
But
It
he
really
would
would.
pick Thresh over Blitz.
I would. Elements has played Elise before.
He has. I do think if he's going to pick a support, it's going to be Thresh, though, because he can combo gank with Thresh.
Right.
It's something that he did play yesterday, but I think it's, once again, Vulcan calling him on, we don't think you can play Thresh. We dare you. Oh, come on, Jackie.
Lock it in. Everybody wants some more Baby Cage coming in this week.
Yeah.
St. Vicious has his lock in, so we're seeing who he will choose for right now. I bet you it's going to be Void Boy's top lane. We'll have to see. Actually, Chris is, I think, last time they last picked Void Boy for top lane to give him kind of an advantage there.
Yeah, and they don't have that luxury this time if they decide to go for that. So they lock in the Thresh and the MF, so they get elements on Thresh, which I think was planned all along for Vulcan. Misfortune is a happy pick for Curse. So Cop is a very happy man right now. It's just a matter of whether Vulcan can deal with that. MF's also a very good pick against Nasus because the Wither doesn't necessarily shut him down as much because you Wither him, then he just uses bullet time, right? And that's generally the way that matchup plays out. But this still opens up stuff like Karthus for Vulcan. They have still had success with Karthus Vladimir. That's been their mid-top combo the last 2 games, right? They could still go for something like that if they really want to, or if the defeat to Complexity threw him off and said that's not the comp we want to go with anymore. I'll have to see. I don't know how. I do not know how he sees the screen. His head's so low all the time.
Just up into that screen. Reminds me of some Counter-Strike players because you would tilt your keyboard and the mouse and you just be all right on the screen. Absolutely. So it looks like he could be a Trist or a Varus this game. Zuna pulling out some good things for Vulcan against Team Solo Mid with that Tristana. It was really pivotal in their Dragon Ace, but it is going to be the Varus and Rumble lock-in.
I like this combination nowadays because when you pick Varus, you allow yourself to have slightly less crowd control in your other positions. So if Zuna lands a really good Varus ultimate with the new Rumble ult in this patch where it does just damage over time and no upfront damage, it could actually work extremely well. This is probably a Psycho Sid pick on Rumble. And for Curse, I'm not sure what they're going to go with here because they get to pick their mid and their top. Bam!
Absolutely. And we were sitting up in the room today. We're like, what happened to all these like Katarina and other things that were played? They just kind of off to the wayside. Leave it up to Void Boy to bring that out.
Someone's going to do it. It's always Void Boy.
Nijaki is bringing out the Kazakhs something.
I think this is the great thing about Curse, actually. Jackie does play Katarina as well as Void Boy,
right.
And Kazakhs is also a flex champion, whether he can play mid or top. So this is a way of neutralizing Vulcan's last pick, right? Because you can't, if you're going to pick a counter pick, it would have to be a counter pick that will apply to Katarina and Kazakhs, which is much more difficult. So I don't know what Vulcan's going to go with here. They do have the option of, like, mid-Rumble is a real thing. There's actually a guy who's like mid-Rumble GG, and all he does is play Rumble. So he was like Diamond 1.
Absolutely.
So it definitely works.
Probably has it in his list of champions as well, so it's out there.
Well, that's the entire list of game is Prawley's champion pool, apparently.
And it's going to be a quick Zed lock-in. After a bit of a wait, they select it and just choose it out.
So Vulcan opting to go for the Zed mid, and once again, I believe that's unlocked by the fact they picked Varus. So you could kind of see it coming that they didn't need mandatory Cloud to bring crowd control to their team since they're going to be able to apply it via the AD carry. So that's a very aggressive, powerful team from Vulcan. And you look over at Curse, they're still happy and confident. There's a little synergy with the box from Thresh plus the bullet time from Misfortune in this one, but for the most part, Curse looks like they're going to try to get the upfront damage from Cop like usual, and then they want Void Boy and Jackie to go in. The only problem they might have is they might not have enough upfront damage to let the resets happen, because that is the reset comp that Curse is trying to run here.
The reset comp, but isn't it going to be super scary? They don't really have what you would want a Lux to stop a Volibear. You flip that one person back, bullet time's coming across to stop that engage, and that one person's stuck. It's
going to be real scary if St. Fish has managed to get a flip. Well, it's going to be on Bloodwater, actually, to be like, I'm going to stop you from coming to me. He's got the Glitter Lance. He's got the Polymorph. He can make someone huge if he decides to. Yeah. And I really want to see that combination work out, right? So, very interesting game about to happen.
Absolutely. We're going to get these guys back in. Couldn't swatch out champion, so it is going to take a second longer as we talk about the compositions here. Cop is going to be on MF. He can play super safe this game, and it really is the champion that he shines on the most because he has the support damage from the back. And Kog'Maw is just, he can give you that damage from the back, but it's still too single target.
Cop is a very happy person right now, and it does work out for Curse's composition because he's actually said that he is an assist-based AD carry, right? I mean, we only track like KDA generally, but Cop's kill to assist ratio is very much in the realm of more assists, whereas Zuna's is very much more in the realm of kills, because Zuna's not necessarily the guy who would normally play the supporty AD carry. He's the one who's screaming, who's in full control of his emotions, by the way.
I'm in full control of my emotions.
Yeah, and wanting to just make plays. It's a little bit different for him on Varus now. I haven't seen him play that much of it, but it'll be a very good attempt for Vulcan if they can coordinate well up against Curse.
And really, there is almost nothing besides Varus ultimate directly on or chained off, or Lulu ultimate to stop out Voyboy's ult.
Yeah, it's mostly just slows, right? Because you're looking at it, it's the polymorph or a knockup. That's it. That's all you have if you want to shut down
polymorph. Yeah, you got to
Voyboy's ultimate. So it's a lot of the pressure here is on Bloodwater. Like, there's actually too much for him to have to shut down. It's really going to be the pressure on Vulcan to find the right fights and not fight sloppy. They have to fight so crisp against a reset team, because in a clean fight, if Vulcan plays crisp, Curse won't get them low enough to start the resets, right? Again, a lot of this is going to go back to Bloodwater, because it's all about keeping the first target alive against this reset ult, which means he has to be so perfect with his WoW growth on Lulu to make sure that first guy doesn't die.
Well, if it's going to be anything like the games before where he couldn't get crescendo off, it's going to be quite hard for that to happen. As we're almost into this matchup, we are going to see it's Nijaki on Kha'Zix coming out mid here. I remember back around, it was Christmas break when we were talking to these guys and stuff, and he's like, you know, I haven't been able to do a lot coming up to the qualifiers in the season, which kind of, you know, put Curse in a tight spot. And he's like, but I have been opening up my champion pool, and this is really the first time we're getting to see that.
Yeah, he was learning Kha'Zix before the Season 3 qualifier and hasn't really brought it out that much. It was the champion that when he had a week to play, he was just like, I'm going to learn Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll use it 2.5 months later. See if it works.
See if it comes out strong. A lot of things being brought back here for some people as we come into this matchup. St. Vicious on the Bear. Smithy on the Dog this time. Did not go for Hecarim within this matchup. We're almost into our last game of the day. Riven Jap bringing it to you live here from Los Angeles, and it has been an amazing week 8. We've seen like the level 1 trends, as we've said, and what does that show you for these two teams in this level 1? Who has that upper hand?
It's been such a crazy week. I don't actually think either one of these teams has the aggression for level 1. If there's a slight edge, it's Curse, because St. Vicious would be able to get the fling in. The sustained damage in fights, there's no like zigs in this game that's just absolutely nuts level 1. There's no Lux that's like, well, you do the bind and then you're kind of out of stuff. So I don't think these teams are going to be doing stuff.
No, probably not, but if they do, it'll be pretty damn awesome. Coming in 30 seconds, and yeah, they're going to spread. Vulcan and Curse, well, not really much so as much Curse, but Vulcan setting up that line of scrimmage.
Curse waiting in the brush this time, so they're making sure that if someone comes by, it wouldn't be super detrimental to them. And this is both teams saying, we do not want to deal with things. There is one interesting vision ward that Curse has actually already placed in the Triangle Brush, because they were kind of hoping that Vulcan would come down and ward that, but maybe we'll see a delayed play from Curse. They're level 1 bullies, right? Even if they're not stronger, they're still going to act like they are, and they're going straight for this blue. Vulcan will know that this area is going to be contested, and that's a good ward by Psycho Sid as Curse approached.
Sid is going to have to move back here, like you said, put down that second one, and they have all the vision. So now they should be able to counteract whatever happens from Curse, unless they let this kind of slide to the wayside in their mind here in the early part.
Yeah, so because they knew that Curse was coming in, Vulcan placed a ward on their blue as well, so they're really just trading knowledge between each other. The only advantage that Vulcan would have is they have the knowledge that Curse warded their blue, whereas Curse can only guess that their own blue was warded. So a little bit of level 1 mind games going on, but definitely no brawls.
Nothing too big, no brawls as usual, which is unfortunate, but we'll get to those soon enough.
We'll get to the brawls.
Absolutely. Curse versus Vulcan now underway. We're going to see if Curse can stay on top in the standings here. Vulcan looks like to go for this late invade on the blue, and they're going straight for it with the vision, knowing they're not even going to see any counter.
Right, so I'm pretty sure they kind of guessed where they would be. They knew Jackie went mid on Kha'Zix already, and they're going to be able to get this one. Now the battle's going to be about how they get to their blue and whether St. Vicious invades them.
He may just want to. He's got to know that they haven't seen him up top yet. Voyboy must have called that and said, you guys may be having some trouble in that burst coming out from both of these guys in mid. Jackie forced a flash on this. So that's the upper hand flash to ManCloud now, but he doesn't have it in his Ignite to finish.
It's all about that early level 2. Mandatory Cloud got a lot of experience out of the lanes, and he just decided to over-trade in the mid lane there. Got aggressive, and he forced Jackie back. Like, Kha'Zix does only have that strong laning phase early when he's like level 2, pings it, and just kind of all-ins you, but Mandatory Cloud beat him to the punch, and he should have an edge on Jackie here throughout the rest of the lane.
And we do see that right after they took the red, the hesitation of, not hesitation, but the length of not having the AD and support top definitely told Curse that their blue was taken. So you can see, we can see in the mini-map, Curse moving for that blue on the invade now for themselves.
Yeah, they're going to want to get that stuff. Zuna's going to be really quickly back in the game. He's got a quick little bug he's got to fix. He's reloading into the game, so this won't be a long delay. We're going to be able to get right back in there. And I still don't know how Zuna sees the screen. He's just forward so much. It's a very aggressive posture to play the game in. It's almost intimidating looking at the
It's
preview
zoomed
monitor.
in out of the game.
Yeah, actually. He zooms in
Zoom,
manually.
personal zoom hack.
Manual zoom. And it's not like he's like extremely tall either, and he's just like looking down at the screen. Maybe that's how he can see it.
Maybe.
I don't even know.
Absolutely.
Blows my mind.
Bam, Zuna. All up in your face. Looks like we are ready to get back into this one, as Zuna is as well. And we are going to be back into that mid lane. We just saw a lot of aggression there to fill you back up, fill you back in and up with all the information. Flashes up for Man Cloud. Both Summoner's Bone for Jackie in mid. A lot of aggression there just now.
Right, and all X-Smithy had to do to scare them off this blue buff is come down. We could potentially see some action here. Curse outnumbers Vulcan here, so it's all in the smite. St. Vicious gets it by spiking it with Frenzy as well.
Gets that down. They're going to easily return to lane. And actually, Smithy knew that was coming around from that early ward from Psycho Sid. So there's a bit of tell going on. Voyboy taking a bit of aggression there. They try to get some more damage down, but he goes ahead, starts chugging those potions.
Yeah, he's done the 9-pot start on Katarina, so he should be able to take a lot of harass. He's just got to worry about the turret dives, but he's already defensively warded up in that top lane, so he should be fine. The same is true for Psycho Sid's 1v1, and this is really just kind of a reset game here. The junglers taking each other's buffs. St. Vicious actually ends up with the slight advantage because he didn't waste any time, right? X-Smithy tried to go down and protect his blue, but didn't make it in time, so Saint got a bit of an edge despite being invaded first.
Watching Cop pressure this bottom lane now 20-20 in CS as they start to put a little bit of damage on the turret. They do have a good ward. They actually have that forward ward to make sure Psycho Sid doesn't get a 2v1. Both lanes seeing some aggression here, and that the death sentence won't be too much pressure for Psycho.
Yeah, we got to be real quick about these lanes because there could be action going down at any second. Voyboy's chugging those health pots, but doesn't feel safe about being able to over-chug and stay in this lane, so he sent St. Vicious up there to clear. St. Vicious is a very happy man to go up there and clear. He loves taxing lanes, and this isn't even tax. He's being nice this time, so he's going to be able to get a bit of an edge with that experience in the lane.
Looks like, yeah, he's going to allow Saint to stay there quite a while. He doesn't even use teleport to get back. And it looks like another ward coming in as Bloodwater stays present on those wards towards Curse's blue buff.
Now this bottom lane, they're getting a fair bit of damage onto this turret. Psycho Sid's gonna have to clear those waves a little bit better. He too started with a whole bunch of health potions. Not much pressure being put on either of these lanes, like super hard pressure. Voyboy did get poked down a little bit, but the turret hasn't taken a whole bunch of damage, and this game's going to have to wait to get underway. Like a little while ago when we saw the 2v1 lanes kind of enter the NA scene, we see the turrets die around 5 minutes. Not the case this time. They're not putting nearly as much pressure on these turrets. These are the man turrets, by the way, right after the turret buff, so they're doing more damage to champions now.
It really is. You even look at the inventories on Vulcan's side, and this is what Curses just looked like. They bought everything to use in a very early engagement. They have almost empty inventories because everything has just been used out.
Vulcan did the consumable strat right at the
Exactly.
start of the game, and they've consumed everything. So since they didn't make too much of it, it's good for Curse.
Absolutely. This bottom turret looking for pressure, and that's what you get out of the 2v1 swap. A Lantern for a safe Cop. Not going to take it down just yet, as they may be ahead 41-39, so both swap lanes are doing quite consistent.
And the mid lane here as well, Jackie, despite having to burn his flash in that level 2 versus 1 all in, Mandatory Cloud didn't take too much of an edge. This is the battle of the 80 assassins in mid lane anyways, so I think they're really going to make something happen at level 6 if they go in on each other or if they start roaming. First turret to Curse is actually a pretty big edge.
Yeah, there it is. 6 minutes into the game. Expect to see them heading towards the top lane once they maybe push back to that second turret. They do not have the Tribush ward there, and we may see Xmithy coming around. He just goes to ward, give a little bit more safety actually to Psycho Sid so he can continuously farm.
And Curse is definitely outplaying these 2v1 lanes in more ways than one. So not only are the turrets completely one-sided, like that's almost no damage to Curse, it's because St. Vicious has been like camping this lane as he goes in and
he flashes, and they actually flash the toss mid-throw.
Yeah, that was so close for Saint, but because Saint has been camping this lane so much, you'd expect that xMithi would have like out-farmed him, or at least Voyboy would be under-farmed to Psycho Sid, but none of these things are true, right? Voyboy's got the same farm as Psycho Sid. Saint Fish has kept up with xMithi, and the only thing that really happened is Curse has an extra turret, so well played by them.
No kills yet in this game, which is quite surprising. As we have said, it is all about the aggression here. Those consumable early level 1 and 2 strats really haven't gone in either team's favor. 8.8 thousand gold to 8.2 thousand gold. That going in favor of Curse. Nightjackie jumping onto ManCloud. Didn't force out the flash, just the living shadows. xMithi comes to get some help.
ManCloud playing it safe right here. Thought that he didn't want to go in since he knew Cop was on the approach, and xMithi covering his lane as well. So these guys with defensive lane strategies so far. The pink wards have come down for Curse, and they're trying to get these Dragon Wards down a little bit, but I don't think we'll see the first fight until maybe mandatory Cloud All-Ins, or maybe Elements lands a nice death sentence.
Well, it looks like the support's hitting level 5s right now. Bloodwater just hit his, almost coming up on those ultimates. So we'll see a little bit more action in the lanes when they can put out that spike in damage or spike in support. But right now it's been Nightjackie and ManCloud. They have loved going at each other in mid, and this is kind of new for Jackie to be the one initiating aggression on the 1v1.
Yeah, just the Chair of the Goddess as well for Nightjackie. Like, he's just got to make sure to farm up, play his game like he did on Rise the last time he played Mandatory Cloud, because that was a Quinn matchup that he had to play against, right? He did not know what was going to hit him.
Choice words for that.
And he said he was going to play, you know, really cautiously. Then he realized he would be the victorious one, I think is a nice way of saying it, and he took his advantage as such, as now Curse with their early pink ward, and because Vulcan is potentially going for the top tower, this is a free one for Curse.
Looks like that gold is going to shoot them up with the first real gold lead of the game, but Vulcan keeps the timer on Curse's Golem. It's not 150 gold, but they will start to be able to harass a little bit here.
Look at that.
Maybe not.
They're getting their own blue buff.
Take it back as well.
It's the counter trade, right?
Yep, for sure.
Like, we're going to steal it. We know we're out of position, and Vulcan needs to get this turret. They really have to get on the board here because they're down 2 objectives right now, and xMithi is coming in from the back as well. They're devoting so much for this. Voyboy's going to just have to give it up.
Yeah, they're actually timing that well. xMithi coming up, figuring we're getting this turret, and also somebody's going to probably be here to try and save this. They get one or the other. It's going to be the turret for now. That's going to even up the gold almost. Psycho Sid farming out with the equalizer right now. Just trying to pressure, or push off Curse, rather.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart equalizer, actually, because he realized his team had invested so many resources sending people up top that Curse may have tried to counteract that, so he just made sure they didn't have creeps to do that. And, like, losing an inner turret this early would have been really bad, so he just completely got rid of that possibility.
Jackie trying to throw out some damage here as he gets the Bloodthirster built underway. The Brutalizer fast build from ManCloud to start off, and the BF swords are already out for the AD carries. Small spikes in damage around the map are really just staying in the lane. Nobody's roaming too much to get a team fight engaged here. It's still 10 minutes in.
Curse going to have to come up big in this game, right? Like, yes, they were worried about TSM as a threat. They lost to TSM. If they lose to Vulcan as well, Dignitas is actually going to pass him from the sofa on the standings because Dignitas has a bye week this week. So Curse, they want to perform. Like, they do care about their #1 standing. They have a constant chip on their shoulder because most members of Curse, at least Voyboy, St. Vicious, and Elements, have been kicked from a team before, right? So to be the #1 team means a lot to these guys, and they do not want to lose it. So this is a very important game for them.
So is the pressure now that Psycho Sid received in the early game the reason he has lost his turret, now bought Sork boots because he can kind of stay back? Usually you'll see a Haunting Guys or something go out before secondary boots on Rumble.
Yeah, a lot of times I think Rumbles go Haunting Guys because it's the magic pen they want plus the extra health they kind of need for resiliency. But Psycho Sid just has confidence in himself, right? It's a faster way of getting the magic pen if he wants to have a really long range fight, and that's probably all that went into that decision. He just means he has to play more safe.
Alrighty, we see Katarina kind of going the other way as the Haunting Guys getting pieced together. Kindle Gem already for St. Vicious. Locked of the Iron Solari since it came out. Really just one of his favorite jungle items because he says it just gives you everything. And he's right. Everything you need. And that cooldown is one of the big things here for Volibear. Can he get in for this fight? And he's going to be able to help his team solidify the first kill of the game. St. Vicious, 13 out of 14 first bloods for his team. Can he do it again?
Yeah, Vulcan's not ready for this one either. And they don't want to give that first blood to St. Vicious, even though he's level 7. They want to get it themselves. I mean, Curse has already cleared away the dragon, right? That's not going to be a point of contention. They've already traded the turrets. That's not a point of contention, right? We could see a little bit of time until someone really tries to force to take something. The blue buffs are going to be up again in about a minute and a half or so. They've been trading those. Maybe they'll decide to actually fight over their blues, but for now they've just been trading, right? So these guys are really happy farming, trading objectives, and they're both confident in their ability to power up. So Psycho Sid versus Voyboy, right? They're not fighting each other, but they actually farm pretty evenly.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Mandatory Cloud and Nijaki, similar story. Even though ManCloud had the early advantage leveling up, it's even. And that's a testament to Nijaki because he actually had to go tier the Goddess early, and he's sticking in the lane against an energy champion. So all around, this is still a very close game, and both teams are happy with the way it's been going.
See Bloodwater grabbing Philo first. He's got 150 gold already off of that, so it's definitely helping them get this ward vision down. They're starting to push. You can see the wards they have on the map, and it's allowing them to pressure St. Vicious in mid. The turret doesn't matter. The teleport coming in, that's got to be stopped. No, Voyboy keeps the teleport going. He feels safe enough to stay in the fight. He's just going to take some poke.
All 5 people on Vulcan are mid now, and St. Vicious was the only member of Curse in that situation. He wanted to be involved in First Blood, and he was. It was just the wrong way around. So he really did himself in. He popped his ultimate while he was withered. There was no way he could fight back, and that was just an obliteration of the bear.
Absolutely. Vision is power, and Vulcan knew they could do that without any recourse. That mid turret still pretty healthy, so you can see just how much they wanted that First Blood and start to kind of control the game.
They drew the gold completely even, right? So that dragon is no longer a factor because they've traded the turrets, they've gotten the kills, and they're out farming a little bit to make up for it. Zuna, 150 minion kills to Cop's 100. Based off all the lane swaps, that's pretty good for them, right? Cop did finish his Bloodthirster, which is a big deal, but Mandatory Cloud is powering up on Zed as well. This is going to be a very critical juncture in the game right here as the next dragon's a minute away.
Burst in damage says Vulcan right now with those BF swords, but if it's played right, Vulcan, or Curse rather, could really pull this one into their favor. They do have some items completed, and we've seen them really be a team that can come down in gold and win the fight. But right now at even, that's going to be a dangerous fight composition for them.
It is one of Curse's specialties, right?
Yeah,
they're just
exactly.
like, well, we kind of lost the early game, but not by much. Let's keep ourselves in the game, wait for the window. It's what Curse is so good at doing, and this is one of those games where they're waiting for the window. They're not behind yet whatsoever. This is still a game that is pretty much yet to begin.
And we actually see Psycho Sid going after the Haunting guys now. Probably was really just trying to get away from Cop in that lane. So painful with the strut, just continuously proccing on him. He got the boots, get out. Now he's going to get his item build going. Blue going over. Actually, who will it go to here? They're going to switch that up. Looks like it actually will go to Mandatory Cloud to get that just more damage out.
Yeah, it does help with energy regeneration as well, so that'll be a big thing. And 6 seconds left. Psycho Sid is sprinting down as fast as he can. He's got to pop his health potions too to make sure he's at full health in this fight. Curse knows the timer. They're going all out on it. If we see the engagement, it's going to be this one because Psycho Sid can reach now with his equalizer.
Coming out from the side, it's going to be Zuna kind of choking himself towards the blue. A great equalizer keeps them from doing damage to Baron and chokes St. Vicious into the pit. He can't help peel for the team. Diving in a bit too much. They give themselves to Curse there. Twice there. Smithy going down. Curse still alive in this fight. They finally lose St. Vicious as he goes down. Voyboy so close. Can he get it? A triple kill coming in for Cop. The KDA going through the roof for the Quadra as well.
That fight was great for Curse. They forced Vulcan into a split decision, and Vulcan paid dearly. Couple things in that fight. Yes, the equalizer went out on Dragon, but it wasn't comboed with Zuna's ultimate either. What Vulcan needs in these fights is to lock people in the equalizer. They locked people out of the equalizer, and then it let Voyboy get in, got the first kill. They reset all over the place, and eventually Cop got the Quadra.
Looks like Curse able to push a turret after that and capitalize on the advantage. 15 minutes in, 5-3. That gold lead finally in their favor, 4,000 up. Locket finish for Saint. A Giant's belt coming out for Katarina, which is going to make it that much harder to burst her down. And like we said, there is not much crowd control to stop them. And that those resets once they get in the fight.
That was just so incredible for Curse. Like, Voyboy got a pretty much full channeled ultimate off. Sure, it was only on one person, but it started the chain. It allowed him to keep his spells going. I actually didn't even keep track of Nijaki during that fight, so I don't even know what contribution he made. He's got 3 assists. Probably did something pretty good. We'll have to catch that after the game if we do a telestrated bit on that or something, but that was real good for Curse. Just cannot say enough how big that was.
So Curse now kind of holding off, seeing what Vulcan is going to answer with. And really, they're going to have to answer with what Curse just did and what many teams say Curse does well. And that's make you pay for your mistakes.
The top teams really punish and play with leads incredibly well. TSM got a little ahead of Curse previously today, they made him pay.
Yep.
Curse couldn't make it back in this game. Let's see if Curse can do the same thing to Vulcan here. Like, it's going to be a struggle for them. Vulcan usually actually plays really well in the early game, and then it was the late game closing that was the difficulty for them. So having a fight go like that at 14 minutes puts them in a really tight situation. They still don't have their big items completed, right? Like, look at Zuna. He's working on his Infinity Edge. Then look at Cop. Bloodthirster Last Whisper. That bullet time is shredding people on Vulcan at this point. So Curse is willing to take any fight. It's probably going to be at the next Dragon.
See Cop still farming away. They are setting up for a bushwhack here onto Cop. They're going to try to stay just at bay, but it looks like he backs off, playing quite smart in that one. He's going to stay safe, getting a little help from Elements here. Nope, they're just going to spread it out. So Curse, you can see the confidence. They're not grouping. They know that Vulcan's not going to engage them in a fight, and they could probably 1v1 a situation that they find.
Curse is the patient team,
Patience.
right? They understand their place in the game, and they don't rush things, which is, you know, sometimes it can be a bad thing if you're not rushing things, but they're definitely taking it slow, right? Like the patience of Voidboy. Yeah, I could farm that wave, but why give up my vision? I don't know if it's safe yet to come into this lane. What if they're trying to push this turret? There's an exposed turret behind, like there's a turret behind Voidboy that Vulcan might want to try to take down for global gold advantage, but now he sees the mid. He saw Zed was there. He's going to farm the wave and get out of there.
And look how many wards Elements put down up top, and that's something, you know, Voidboy was waiting for as well. He sees him in mid because of St. Vicious, so he feels a bit more confident to head out now, but he obviously is wary as he goes back and forth in that lane. Cop and Elements pushing this top turret, trying to get it down at 18 minutes. They are 2-1, and they have grabbed that map control from the mid and bottom turret. This will be the final one and really open things up for them.
If they can get those 3 turrets out, then the deep wards will start happening. And like, the middle lane is littered in wards from Vulcan because they probably want to start pushing that mid turret fairly soon, and they don't want to get caught out by Roam. But the pressure from Curse on the rest of the map is keeping them from being able to do that, right? Voidboy's still pushing bottom. They got to keep his teleport on track. Also, it's a 1v2 against Psycho Sid. He's overheating. That turret's down as well. So Vulcan losing out on the arms race for turrets here.
Big Lantern toss back. Xmithy gonna head back, and let's probably finish up this Locket of the Iron Solari soon, or get the armor chunk of it. He finishes the entire thing, so a little more fight ready here coming in for Vulcan, but that's only a shield. It doesn't mean they're gonna be able to put everybody in the fight. That Infinity, as you were talking about, has been finished with the Red Elixir burst on the backside.
And this gold disadvantage that Vulcan is under right now is pretty much as far they can, like, they can't let it go farther, otherwise they're gonna lose control of the game. But this is still a number that they can come back from, since the team compositions are very close. If they can save the first target from dying, they could win a team fight fairly handily. If they land their spells right, or if they get picks like this and can chase down Voidboy. Let's see if he gets away with teleport.
Will Voidboy be able to use it? No, he gets popped up there. The Lulu ultimate for the teleport, but up top as well, the Retribution kill goes back towards Vulcan.
And Zuna just a little bit slow to that. Here comes the pressure from Curse. They know it was 3v1 bottom versus a 2v1 top, so that leaves Jackie as the lone member pushing mid.
And that's what I said before, right? Curse feels comfortable enough to put one person, if they need to, in each lane to go for the 1v1. And it took Vulcan 3 or 4 members to take down Voidboy. St. Vicious is going to be a bit of a harasser here on the Mandatory Cloud. He's got the attack speed scaling up there. He is going to be able to take out Man Cloud that last fight. Like I said, don't poke the bear.
Red buff bear with level 2 Thunderclaws. That's an extra 115 damage every auto attack. That steroid is absolutely insane. Like, you don't fight Volibear. And Mandatory Cloud without his ultimate just couldn't deal with him. As soon as St. Vicious got the fling, Mandatory Cloud was like, there's no getting away from this. I'm going to try to fight him as best I can, but he was really doomed from the start when St. Vicious closed.
That damage shred that we've seen a lot of teams trying to come out with here from Bloodthirsters on just about everyone you can build it on, and trying to get that damage across. We saw Zuna build 2 the other game. He went for Infinity Edge this game, so I don't think he'll be trying for that one.
It's a much different animal on Varus. He wants to make sure he's auto-attacking well after he gets his ultimate off, whereas Cop is all about the assist damage like we were talking pre-game. Zuna made sure to clean up that blue buff even though he was on top of ward, and the dragon is up. Round 2. Let's see if Vulcan can pull it off, if they combo their ults properly or not.
5,000 gold lead makes this that much more dangerous, and like we said, Curse makes and takes advantage of mistakes. Dragon at half, not going to have much on that. Saint's going to go ahead and bite it down. I think he even saved Smite. No, he used it up. So we have Xmithy and the rest clearing out the jungle. Mandatory Cloud heading top. They're trying to get the lanes pushed so Curse cannot dictate so much of his map presence.
Really intriguing choice there by Vulcan not to fight a dragon. I can see why they wouldn't want to go in Riv, because they knew they would be down in the game already and they lost the last fight so badly. but they didn't want to try and fight better. They thought that that was just a really bad place for them to be fighting in, which tells me that Vulcan has other plans, right? Because if they're just going to be giving up the Dragons, they're not the type of team that's just going to let Curse walk over them and win. They probably think the Baron is a better place to start putting up a fight, or they think they can catch someone out of position.
Now, is it a statement when you see a Katarina go straight for Rylas instead of something like a Zhonya's or super defensive item?
I think it's just a Voyboy thing, right? He used to build Warmogs on Katarina. Sometimes he does Sunfire Cape. And
so kind of like Frog and throws a dart at a board and say, build it.
Yeah, and in this situation, it kind of works out for him because his team does need a little bit of extra chase, and he's going to help combo. But Mandatory Cloud, he's going to have to fight a bear again.
Deja vu, man, Cloud, there's the bear. Rolling Thunder tries to get in. The flip goes back. That's what we said after the flip. It's going to be almost impossible to get out. Smithy trying to help, but he may have solidified and secured his own death as well. Chain of Corruption onto Nijeki. He flashes the last turret tether. They're still under the turret. Voyboy gets hit up. St. Vicious wanted to be that tank for the turret.
And they're just going to keep going. X-Smithy's super low. He's trying to chase. Oh man, Riv.
That was absolutely crazy. Cop and Elements coming in to bolster the ranks in the top lane. Bloodwater and Sid looking the equalizer. Will it start the fight? Oh, he wards the push. That looked like it could be so amazing, but a ward thwarts it. St. Vicious, the lantern toss all the way over the edge. Cop! Whoa, walking into an entire fight there. Not in the right spot. The KDA takes a hit.
That was a surprise for him. He didn't think Psycho Sid was in that area. It's like, oh my goodness, it was 2 feet away from me. What do I do? I'm gonna ult! And I guess Cop died from that one. But that's the kind of play Vulcan was waiting for, right? They were confident that Voyboy was gonna make a play potentially that was too aggressive and be able to turn it around from there. So instead of giving Curse a controlled 5v5 at Dragon, they would rather have a chaotic fight in the top jungle, and it was a good play for them in the end.
Absolutely. What do we have here as we take stock of the game? 200, just about 200 to 200 CS in mid. There's a 10 CS difference. Same with the AD carries. We're seeing the biggest discrepancy in that top lane. It was the swap, and Voyboy has pulled out the 2v1 a little bit stronger. That gold right now, I believe, is going in favor of Cop at 9,100 to himself.
Oh yeah, he's a very, very powerful Misfortune right now. And St. Vicious, despite giving up first blood, despite being a little bit 0-2, he's farmed a lot, right? He's 111. X-Smithy farming a lot in the jungle as well. These are not the supporty junglers. These are the guys that want to have big presence in team fights. Saint has beaten X-Smithy to the punch with his aura items, right? 6,600 gold to 5,700. And X-Smithy's going to want to pick up that Aegis of Legion if his team wants to have a bit better chance in these team fights, because especially with the wanting to keep the first target alive, it's good to get that armor and magic resist to everyone.
You see, like you said, the Aegis finished. These guys want to get back in the fight. Curse really dictating this one, but as we said before, also slowly. They don't want to make the mistakes that Vulcan can capitalize on just yet. 24 minutes in here to the last game of the day. It's Vulcan trying to thwart Curse out of this top place spot. Like we said, dig the toss, waiting in patience to see if they're going to be able to take that first place.
Yeah, they're happily on the couch being like, come on, Vulcan,
come
pass
on,
Curse
Vulcan.
for us, all right. But it's not working out too well for them right now.
Right.
Vulcan's still clinging to that 5,000 gold disadvantage. They don't want to let that stretch. I mean, the longer they can hold it as a 5,000 gold disadvantage, the better it becomes for them. Because it's really all about percentage gold difference. And if you get eventually to the point where everyone has 6 items, who cares about 5,000 gold? But it's a long ways away from there, and Curse is trying to make a Baron play. You can see Elements has picked up his Oracle's Elixir, so they're really trying to deny Vulcan vision and force them into a difficult decision. Voyboy's off split pushing bottom, so if Curse wants this, it would be a 4v5. They're getting that Baron pretty low, and they're going to try to keep these wards clear.
They have that teleport from Voyboy to come in. FanCloud trying to stick on him to let the team know. Voyboy's backing off, ready for the teleport here. You're going to see if he pulls it in. The box goes down. Ooh. They are able to get Baron. That Chain of Corruption was very close for doing some damage. Zuna is the focus. Bullet time goes across. Wild Growth used in defense, and Voyboy is still able to stick on the team. That Ryla's coming into play very big. The resets start, and it will continue. Cop picks up one. The turret goes down on the bottom side as they try to answer from Vulcan.
Really good force by Curse there. They realized Mandatory Cloud could not respond, and even though Vulcan landed like the perfect combo between Varus and Rumble ults, it just didn't matter because there was no one there to fight for Vulcan. 2 kills for a Baron for just a turret that Vulcan gets is an incredible strategic edge that Curse just gained.
Mandatory Cloud has to get back rather right now. He cannot push that second turret. The inhibitor will go down here. The Baron is up. They cannot fight this back versus Curse. There's just too much regen from that.
That inhibitor is not long for this world, and Mandatory Cloud cannot contribute either. It's a bit of a bigger disadvantage now because Inhibitor down plus Baron down, 5 turrets to 2. Vulcan really has to turtle this one out, Riv.
Jackie just hitting 16 on that Kazakh's, getting his level up going. You'll see now more denial. No, they are back down.
Yeah, and the timing on this Dragon might actually work for Vulcan because Curse did just use everything, and they know that Jackie's in the top lane here on Kazakh. So if Vulcan could somehow wait the 24 seconds, I don't know if they have the window to because the top lane might start falling, but if there was a Dragon to contest, like this would either just destroy the game or Curse is forcing them into a 4v4. With the way Jackie's continuing to push, though, this does look like Curse will get another free Dragon and extend their lead even more.
To have that time on the Dragon and know it was about 30 seconds gave Jackie so much time to push the top lane. They lose Zuna to this. He's going to try to hold that, but Curse grabs the Dragon now because they were a little too early on their positioning.
Curse is playing this game really, really well, Riv. Like, even though they gave up first blood and Vulcan kind of punched him in the teeth early a little bit, they were completely unfazed. They just play so well once they have a little edge and have gotten the Dragon fight going down. Their late game is probably the most solid late game of all the teams in the North American LCS. Cop got that static shiv as well after picking up his quadra kill, right? Not many deaths happening throughout the rest of the team. Voyboy's super aggressive, got the Riley's Crystal Scepter, right? Like, they're in really good shape here.
They are even executing a tri-split push now.
A tri-push.
The tri-push.
Everybody does this from time to time. So Cop running out the bottom lane. They got about minute 40 seconds left on the Baron. They're going to try to make a bit more happen. I think they want to clean the rest of the outer turrets up during the duration of this buff and really just take even more of an edge.
And Cop already starting to get safe play in his build. He gets to the giant belt, trying to keep himself alive in these fights, keep that KDA up. I'm sure he's sweating right now as we come into these final weeks, and these ranks are weighing on the teams. Just remember, go vote for that All-Star as well while you're watching these matches at esports.com. I got it. As the turret goes down, I was excited about both and couldn't get one out. So at 28 minutes, Jack Curse dictating another lane in their favor, now in the inhibitor.
They were looked to get this, but the thing is, Jackie's off pushing the other lane, and that's sucking Zuna in. So there's almost no threat on Curse right here, since Zuna's not there as an AD carry threat. And if they send ManCloud up to get Jackie, well, Mandatory Cloud is more likely to be able to fight him, as he's actually just going to go all in,
There's the ultimate and the jump. He dives in, a flash out as well. The little give and go by himself there.
Dodges out, and there, at that point, since they lost Zed, Vulcan has no threat on Curse, so this other turret is now under a bit more duress, and they know there's no ultimate threat from Mandatory Cloud.
What do we have coming up, Cop? They are actually going to start backing up. Nothing from them. It looks like they were going to push the turret. Vulcan, yes, rather. Mandatory Cloud still up top. Bloodwater's ultimate is up. Chain of Corruption is down for Zuna, as well as Mandatory Cloud's ult down as well. He's trying to back here. Looks like they're just going to face take some damage from this turret. They actually did draw aggro, but actually getting the turret without taking too much here. And this is where Vulcan has really excelled in some of their games. They don't have the poke they usually do.
They really want to be able to get some kind of fight, but they know they're 10,000 gold down, and Curse has everybody there, so they're too afraid to initiate something. But if they give up their second inhibitor, it's really hard to come back from. I want Vulcan to fight here, but I don't think they're ready, and I don't think they'd win.
Mandatory Cloud out of mana from finishing off minions. They really don't have the ability to fight right now. It's really just about wave clearing.
They just couldn't deal with it in that situation. Mandatory Cloud hasn't made the Zed work too much. He's farmed a lot, but he hasn't created split push pressure. I gotta say, Voyboy's teleporters came in really big in those plays that they're trying to make. 2 inhibitors down, Riv. It's not something that's easy to come back for. You can see they're trying to elixir up to kind of survive the next push, but the next push could just be a Baron and a slow push to the Nexus by Curse because they have all the cards in their hands.
It's very, got to point out, interesting play from Elements this game. He is 0-0-8, and we kind of harped on him for his tosses and throws before, but he's played Thresh in a very less aggressive manner, and it's completely working out for him.
It's been completely solid. He's gotten the box down in the right places, which makes bullet time more effective, and you got to remember, there's really only been one real fight in this game, and that was at the Dragon where Curse cleaned up, and in that fight, Elements made some really good plays, and that's really all he needed to do. They pushed the turrets early well enough. He used his ranged harass really well in those situations, and he's just really played support, right? He's controlled the map, and since he hasn't had to have too many in-fight decisions, Thresh has been great.
Cop here to help Jackie take down the top turret. Voyboy able to split push by himself as he builds up the Seeker's arm guard. Looks like after sinking all that money into the Rylas, these guys haven't really built too much, which means how far ahead they were. They haven't even needed more items to continuously do what they're doing.
Yeah, a lot of them are actually sitting on a lot of gold. There's 1,600 gold on Cop and 1,400 gold on Voyboy, so they're just happily refreshing these inhibitor kills. If there's a time for Vulcan to go, I'm not sure when it is. Like, I think anytime they do this, it's going to be a bad fight for them. If they land the perfect combo, they might be able to take down Curse, but Curse is so confident in this situation.
It's that position that Vulcan puts themselves in. They
might go.
don't have an initiator. They have an equalizer, but it's a walk-outable initiation. They have the Wither walk-outable. And the new word, I'm going to write that one down. The inhibitor is going to go down here despite anything. The Chain of Corruption would have been the only initiation. Now it's down in defense.
They tried to catch Cop in the Chain of Corruption plus Equalizer combo, but once it missed, they're like, all right, we lose the inhibitor. That's unfortunate thing for to happen now. No inhibitors, and number 3 is getting pressured. Still, though, Curse hasn't shopped. They know Zuna's down as initiation, and they're probably pretty confident just split pushing this one in. Even though the Baron's going to be up in about 18 seconds, they're getting as much free damage as they can. Vulcan, you got to go.
There it is, the equalizer, the last initiation they have. The Wither goes down on St. Vicious, but he's not diving the back line. Everything was used on the guy that's not going to be doing a super amount of damage in the first part of the fight. Void Boy on the Nexus turrets.
Control is the name of the game right now for Curse. They are keeping Vulcan baby caged up in their base. They just can't get out of this one. Look at the turrets going down. Third inhibitor taking threat. Lantern's going everywhere. Vulcan doesn't have a real place to counter this.
Absolutely cutting off their air supply. They're not actually even getting minions every 30 seconds out of the Nexus because Void Boy has taken him down like a double lane farming hotshot in your base. 32 minutes into this one, ManCloud putting some pressure on Void Boy, but they're going to need him towards that top turret as well. It goes down, and they're getting spread way too thin.
Curse is systematically taking down Vulcan's base. That's 10 turrets to 2. Even though the goal lead is only 12,000, Curse has won this game so far by playing tactically well and winning one team fight, and I think they're going to continue to do it in the same manner.
You have 11 turrets on Summoner's Rift, and Vulcan has not been able to productively fight under one yet, so they're going to have to do it out in the open. Zuna, the focus, the Wild Growth could allow him to do some damage, but he is wiped out. Surgically removed from the map with resets is the next 2. Psycho Sid and Bloodwater head for the fountain. They are shaking in their boots. The last inhibitor goes down, Jat, and Curse looks to stay on top.
Curse just destroyed Vulcan in this one. 33 minutes, completely decisive victory, and they're just going for more kills.
Absolutely. Cop picks up another one for the KDA. A big smile on his face, and Curse comes out victorious in the last match of Week 8.
Curse comes out of this one 2-1, so they maintain their #1 seed in the LCS. Good play by them. That was systematic destruction of Vulcan.
Absolutely.
So Bloodwater, yes, you can make some calls, but they weren't good enough in that one against Curse because Curse played great.
You can see all the smiles. These guys enjoyed the matchup thoroughly. Bloodwater definitely going to go re-look at this matchup with the team. It had to be either one of their hardest. It was really the one that shook them up the most. Obviously, they just couldn't find their footing this game.
Yeah, and it happened last week as well where Curse just seemed to take them down. Like, it wasn't really any particular moment that you can look at in that game. It was really just, you know, maybe in this one it was the Dragon fight, but everything went their way after that. There wasn't any other points of contention. It was literally just Curse making the right plays, shifting in the right directions, and being like, okay, we are going to take this now.
And we actually have a replay of why Cop has the highest KDA. Let's take a look at that quadra kill from the Dragon fight.
This one was just pretty solid. I mean, the positioning of Curse, watch the equalizer in this fight, and the ultimate from Varus. They rush down the Dragon, and Vulcan says, we have to go now. So they equalize in. But Zuna was a little slow. That was a great Varus ultimate if it was on an equalizer. But because it wasn't, they didn't get anyone on Curse low. It allowed Curse to pull off their combo. The box actually denied Mandatory Cloud and Bloodwater from getting where they wanted to be. And then Cop just got everyone else who was low. It's really unlikely normally for Curse for Cop to get all the kills, but it just ended up happening that way.
We just started this one with being like, Cop's not going to be the one to get in there. He won't finish them. He'll get them all.
Yeah.
But he wanted that. He actually flashed in there, and I think that maybe like, I can't even count that many times, or like less times on my hand.
He did the finger exercises before the game.
He did the
finger. And then he knew how to flash. So
absolutely, you know what to do if you want to get your KDA up there and absolutely get a quadra kill in the game. So after the break, we'll have St. Vicious and Elements from first place Curse, and we'll break down where the teams stand after an exciting Week 8. Stick around.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm pleased to be joined by St. Vicious and Elements from Curse after their victory over Vulcan. And you guys seem to beat Vulcan. I mean, that was your now, I think, 4th victory against them all year. How do you beat them so well?
Just one of the teams, like, play styles meshing up. Like, GGU gives us a hard time sometimes, and then for some reason Vulcan, it's just, it feels like just the way we play against them just hits it well. So.
Right, because I mean, in that game, you kind of seemed to like tactically outplay them in a lot of situations. You won the one dragon fight, and then you just kind of kept going. Do you control the game really well against them? Do you like read their style really well?
They play like, they don't play consistent, I feel
Okay.
like. Like, it's not something like you can predict with them, because sometimes they'll be really aggressive, and they're like, whoa, and then other times they'll be really kind of like passive. So, I don't know.
Is that something that happens frequently with kind of the bottom 4 teams? Are they just more inconsistent than the top teams?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, maybe that's why they're bottom 4 teams, is because they don't play as consistent, and they're not putting in, I guess, the threat values that the other top teams are putting in, I guess.
So, I mean, with all of that, a lot of the bottom teams just made roster changes, right? Vulcan was a clean example of that. Did Bloodwater make any difference that you guys noticed for their team?
I don't think so. I mean, like, nothing against the guy. I mean, he is a good player, but I don't think he was the shining star they needed, maybe.
Yeah.
It feels like when they actually had Shifter, they were a lot better.
Right.
Oh, no, I mean, that's the wrong team. I'm thinking of GG.
You're thinking of Bloodwater because they was on GG.
Yeah, I got mixed
that
up.
you?
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other roster changes as well, like Prawley on Complexity. How do you think that's going? Because he's been kind of blowing people away this week.
Dude, he's a beast. I like Prawley. I just like it because he plays really unconventional things. And
And he zigs.
yeah, and he's like, that's really like good. I don't know, it's like, whoa, I didn't expect that to come out.
I don't think we've seen an Annie for like, what, a year plus in competitive play?
Yeah.
What was he doing on Annie that was impressive?
Man
Just
moding,
play-
dude. He's just
yeah.
dropping timbers and taking
Yeah.
numbers right there.
I like the comp because that comp wouldn't have worked without having the kill support, because Annie would just go in, they're like, all right, we're gonna kill this Annie now. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. He's kind of invincible.
That's kind of the problem with Annie, like why she fell out of competitive play, because didn't they also have Shen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Annie's, distance or gap closing was, just a flash tippers. But like, if Annie can just stand there and just like, you're stunned, and was like, constantly DPS and just throw this like, almost like a ranged Udyr with more damage, like that's crazy. And they actually had a really good team comp, and like, hats off to you guys. That was a good team comp. I liked it.
Yeah, Complexity really played well. Of the bottom 4 teams that kind of made the roster swaps, because it happened to all of them, who would you say came out the best of all of those situations, or can you not judge it yet?
Complexity. Yeah. I mean, nothing against Trooper, but I just think that Prawley is like a playmaker, and that's what I guess that's kind of what, like, every team needs a playmaker that they can, kind of like ride the coattails of almost. But
All right, so, I mean, you guys are still #1 team. You're getting a lot of all-star votes, at least St. Vicious is right now. Elements is in 4th place. He's like, vote for me, vote for me. But what are your thoughts on the all-star game? Do you like the voting system? How's it going? And are you excited to be in the lead as the jungler?
I think it could have been done better. I think they should have done it like a 3rd pro players, 3rd community, and then maybe a 3rd like rioters or something like that.
Isn't that what the NBA kind of does?
Yeah, I know some sports organizations do that, but
What about the current voting system? Like, what do you think of the roster that's currently in the lead, right? Because it's Voyboy right ahead of Dyrus, yourself,
actually Dyrus
Scar in
passed
mid lane.
Voyboy.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, as an all-star team, you were on C to E together. Who do you think is the best North American team chances in the qualifiers? Regardless of what the voting is right now, who would be your best team?
Well, I already made a video about it, but I'd probably say a CDE with Double If as AD carry, just because I felt like the team had like everything it needed. It had like the safe lane, it had the aggressive lane, it had aggressive jungle, and then bottom lane, I think would just be really consistent with Xpecial and Double If. So.
Okay. Any differences for you, Elements, in the all-star voting dream team?
Yeah, I did like a little video again with Travis the other day,
Right.
and I said that I think might have too many Chiefs and not enough Indians in that team with the way it's currently going with Skara and that kind of stuff. So I actually swung it, and I think it'd actually be better with Cop and Crumbs if they wanted like to fit that play style a little bit better. I think that would flow a little bit better with the team comp.
And I know this is kind of looking a little bit far in the future, but imagine you do get in as the All-Star team, knowing that the victories of the All-Star game get the 3rd place, like the 3rd spot in the actual World Finals. How much like practice time and importance are you going to be putting into it, say if you actually do get voted in Saint?
Well, actually, I was talking to Liquid about that during lunch yesterday, and I think we're going to try to get everybody, since like we have a big break for about a month and a half in the off season. I think we're going to try to get the All-Star team in the gaming house, or the Curse house, for like a week or 2. And then probably like boot camp and maybe work out some crazy strats with Scar's large champion pull.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Element St. Vicious. Again, congratulations on your victory over Vulcan. You guys are still first place in the North American LCS pretty much since week 1, so it's been a very impressive season for you. And also, good luck in the All-Star voting as well, both to Elements and St. Vicious. And now, we have Kobe with some clips on the Telestrator.
All right, thank you, Jat. I've got one clip for you here. This is between Marn and GGU, in which both teams chose champions with just oodles of AoE damage. And it's really interesting how it actually plays out. So we're starting this clip off. Daydreamin has Claky D on a leash already. He's already got him hooked, and Echo is missing this first Crescent Strike onto Don't Mash Me. So it's going to delay Echo's engage here. He's not going to be able to zone him as quickly as he wants. But that's the choice he does go for, tries to get that AD out of the team fight, and that really, it takes off the Infinity Edge Caitlyn hitting from the back, but it also takes away the peel that Nian Tanso needs from the Moonfall to really group up the rest of GGU and make their AoE effective. So if we play this at 50%, we'll see how it plays out. Jinte gets right in there. He's doing AoE damage this whole time as Claky's just passively burning down. Now, if we see the ultimate come out from Nian Tanso, we'll pause it right here. Immediately when Nian Tanso ulted, you can see, you can't even see him anymore. Nocturne ults as well. He gets right onto Nian Tanso, and they drop their exhaust, so they stop the AoE damage coming out from Marn, while GGU have been doing all of their AoE damage this whole time with Karthus. You can see him in the middle here. And he just gets all the damage off, passively burning down Claky D, who also gets caught by the box of Thresh right there. And so he's going to be the first one to go down, and then Heartbeat is also going to take an ace in the hole, ace in the... What is it? Ace? Yeah, ace in the hole. All right, let's roll this one at full speed. All right, here goes Claky D. He's dropping down. Then Heartbeat is going to take, Don't Mash Me is going to ult on Nian Tanso, but Heartbeat takes it. So now he's low enough, he actually dies to the Requiem. That's 2 members out. All right, they think they've lost this fight, but no, let's pause it right here. Echo is going to decide to go back in. He Crescent Strikes again because they've just seen Renekton come down, but we also have Rumbo following as well. He's just behind him, and this is going to turn really bad from Marn. They already lost the team fight, but they decide to throw a couple more deaths onto it. Let's roll the rest of the clip. Here we go. He dumps in. He goes on Daydream, and Echo's going to get burned down as well, and that's also going to be Mega Zero getting caught. He at least is able to trade his life for the life of Nintendo because he's going to get that Ignite off, but that's going to be the end of that. And a really long, drawn-out game where some mistakes were made going back into an already lost team fight. So it really shows that communication key in these endgame team fights. Let's send it back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you, Kobe, for the oodles of analysis. And we've reached the end of an amazing Week 8. And it's time to check out the standings. Curse, 16-4, 2-1 on the week, and still at the top. Dignitas is 6-5 with their bye. TSM 15-7, 1-1 on the week. And CLG at 10-11 is 0-1.
Marn actually 7-13, 1-1 on the week. Vulcan is in 6th place now at 8-15 with a 1-2 mark. GGU and Complexity are 6-14 and 15 respectively, but Complexity was also 2-1 on the week, so
Absolutely.
Good for them.
Indeed. And now it's time to crown this week's most valuable player. For helping his team go 2-1, the award goes to Complexity's new mid laner, Prolly.
Yeah, he was just a spark for Complexity this week. He went 20, 12, and 35 in 3 games, played some crazy champions, Ziggs, Jarvan, and Annie. The KDA isn't really the point here because he plays so aggressive. He just goes in. He's a total aggressive spark, and everyone was talking about him this week. Even the other teams, they were like, wow, Prolly really added to that team. He brings so much to the team. He brings so much to the LCS, both in his personality and his champion pool, and it's great to have him as the MVP.
Gaining all the respect, working that milkshake and bringing the boys to the yard. Week 8 of the LCS continues on Saturday in Europe with 6 big games. First up, it's SK Gaming facing off against the top team in the league, Fnatic. Then it's Gambit taking on Evil Geniuses, followed by Giants versus the Copenhagen Wolves.
Up 4th, it's Against All Authority facing off against the Dragonborns, followed by 3rd place SK Gaming taking on 4th place Evil Geniuses. And closing out the day, it's a Clash of the Titans as Fnatic battles Gambit, so you don't want to miss that one because it all kicks off on Saturday at 5 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Central European Time.
And then we're back here next week with another big show. First up, Curse needs a win to stay on top of the standings when they take on Marn. Then CLG takes on Dignitas, team that looks to keep their first place in their sights.
After that, Curse faces off against Complexity and this week's MVP Prawley. And finally, after a big win today, GGU can take over the final playoff spot if they take down Marn. Then we have a special extended coverage of the Challenger Tournament semifinals.
It all starts Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Central Eastern Time. That's a wrap for us. I'm Riv, and on behalf of Chat, Kobe, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching. Good night.
Man me the fuck up and do a good call, dude. Turtle.
Speeding up probably.
Getting towards it. Oh my god, a 4-person flash top. Mandatory Cloud gets hit up right away. Was just as exciting. Oh, Vulcan, you smell like burning.
Yeah, right.
He broke it. He's ulting. He's ulting. Get Nian. Free kill. Oh. Good job.
Keep chasing. Can we keep chasing?
He's gonna die. Just keep going. He has no berry. He's dead. Let's push bot. Let's game.
I'm sorry, AoE down. It's too strong.